The standard pour. Standard. Pour. Standard. The standard pour.
All right, welcome, Standard Pour Podcast. Another lovely episode.
Hello.
Got a great guest on today. One of my friends and coworkers here. G. You have all these different things you want
So
to be
many
called
names.
every
Yeah.
time.
Many
so
aliases.
Glenn or G Love or Glennis or whatever.
G Money.
G Money.
OG.
Yeah, I like that one. OG.
Yeah,
that's
that's a
cool.
good one.
I like that one. Yeah, I'm just Blake, and can't do much with that.
Balake.
No, please. I just,
How many times do you get that? Like a day?
Okay, like we had these people, I was like, had some cool people at the bar, whatever. It was like Friday or Saturday night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, we became buddy as you do, when people get really drunk and you're serving them alcohol and they think you're really cool and great.
Right.
And you're just, just trying to steal their money. And and then they were, call me by my name, time went on. At the very end of it all, they were like, okay, we want to go like dance somewhere. Where should we go? I'm like, well, I'm not the right person to ask for that. You know what I'm saying? But like, maybe you should go to like, I said Cowboys Red River or something. They're like, oh, we've been there. We want to go somewhere else. I'm like, okay, well, I ran out of options already.
That's like the
you know
one
what I mean?
place.
Then, at the very end of it all, I gave them their checks or whatever, and then they whipped out the block A.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, God damn it. It's like, because whenever that sketch came out, everyone was calling me block A. I hated it.
Yeah.
So I think my audio is kind of fucked up here. It's very loud. So anyways, I hated that shit. And I hate when people say it. I used to work at this wine bar kind of place, and like we were ran by these like they were foreign, Armenian I think or whatever, and pretty broken English or whatever, and like they would always call me Bloque like in that in their accent or whatever, and then every single time I'd have a guest and I was talking to him and he would come up there and he'd be like, you guys like the bartender? Yeah, Block A. Have you ever seen that? Have you seen the Key and Peele sketch? Or whatever? He always asked every single fucking guest multiple times a day, like so many times. It just really dug into my skin. You know what I mean? If it would have been like an every now and then thing.
Yeah, it's like,
can you tell I'm traumatized?
Like a little heated,
yeah,
like a tiny bit.
I'm traumatized by this. You know what I mean? Like
you're like, this isn't a bit. I'm genuinely.
It has ruined my life. Yeah. And I've always wanted to have a cool nickname.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've always have. But there's just nothing you can do with a one-syllable name that's like just very vanilla. I have a very vanilla name. And it's tragic, But I've just always wanted to be that cool guy. I don't know, Jimmy, Johnny, some shit like that or whatever, hey, Vinny,
I mean, you can like mix it up like with your like middle name or your last name.
I guess, but my middle name is Anthony.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to be Tony. I don't want to. What else is there besides Tony? And then
well, your last name's like
Meyer,
right? And
yeah.
You're like Oscar Meyer Wieners.
There's another one. There's another dig.
You're like, all right,
I just
canceled. Go home.
Yeah. I'm gonna veto that.
Yeah.
But I did get called that a lot in school.
Oh yeah.
Already.
I
So
bet.
it's been nothing but trauma my entire life. Let me tell you about my traumatic past.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was good like conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's got it.
On that note, like I want to just go ahead and just make some drinks because I could really use one. I've been working
Fair
a lot
enough.
and finally got a day off, and
Yeah.
So what we got today is some Western Suns cucumber vodka.
Love it.
I couldn't find any De Kuyper triple sec, so I got some other random bullshit.
Fair enough.
And we're gonna make basically a cucumber martini type deal here. Western Suns cucumber has like 30% alcohol. It's lower in alcohol content, so this is actually really good if you don't want something that's too like strong, but has a really great flavor. And it's the new thing. It's made in Pilot Point here in Texas, and we all love our Texas bullshit. So You know, it's
Love
actually
these glasses, so cute.
it's actually really good. Yeah, this is like another thing of like a typical bartender thing. Veil vodka. Like I've gotten this in some kind of I can't place where I've gotten this from, but
Like some
it's
random
been
rep
from
showed up
some-
one
yeah,
day
it's
and gave
been
you
from
some bullshit. Yeah.
Like I'm not really the type of guy to like really drink martinis anyway, because I just don't understand. Like martinis to me are just like a shot. You know what I mean?
Basically.
It's basically just a shot. So I'm like, why do I need like? Let me just, you know what I mean? Let
Yeah.
me just take a shot. I don't know. Why do I need to drink this thing that tastes disgusting?
No, that's literally
You know?
that's what I do when I drink. Is I just order a chilled shot and I just sip
Yeah.
it because I'm bougie, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, like sometimes I've gotten like, you know, I don't know, like a vodka and then like I'll do a little bit of olive juice and like a few olives in there sometimes. Like if it's like a, you know, like Kettle One or something that's easy to sip on or whatever,
Yeah.
I've done that before. But I mean, as far as, I'm not a huge vodka fan, to be honest, but
I drink exclusively vodka, so I can't
Yeah.
relate.
that's why I got this for
Yeah.
you, you know, so
I mean, I appreciate the thoughtfulness that went into that.
yeah. I don't know. I like to be nice to my guests here, you know.
We can just all be a good guy.
We're all doing this for free right now. Maybe someday we'll make $5, you know?
Yeah. I'll be here for you when that happens. I'm totally excited for you.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm up to 20 followers now. You know, so you know, follow the Patreon. You know, I have some Instagram shit going on here. You know, I got Twitter. It's at Standard Pour Pod on both of those. I got, you know, the YouTube deal. You know that y'all. I mean, it's really the best way probably to watch the podcast. But you know, Anchor is like my primary platform, so you know, you got the RSS feed here, so you can actually kind of like follow it that way, or you know, you can go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google if you're a weirdo, and then just some other random platforms if you're extra weird. But Spotify and Apple should probably cover most people, I think. I got some real nice, disgusting lime juice. I don't, you know, I'm just too lazy, you know, to get some real lime juice in here, to be honest. I'm like,
Yeah,
I have some limes in my fridge, and I was like, you know, maybe I could squeeze these out, you know, have the juicer or whatever thing.
Yeah.
It's like I could do it, you know, but do I want to do it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and I don't, you know, as much as like I like to bartend, I like, you know, do you ever get when you go to like parties or whatever, people are like, oh, you know, you're a bartender, you know,
Yeah.
hey, can you make us a drink? I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't even clock out ever of my job, so.
Yeah, no, like when I first started bartending, I was totally into it. I would like bring my whole setup
Yeah,
to parties.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
like bring, you know, the shaker and the strainer and everything. And I was like, all right, I want some fancy made up cocktails. But now when people are like, how come you don't bring your setup anymore? I'm like, well, it's years later.
Yeah.
It's been like 2 years. I'm like, it's not like a long time. But it's just like, you know, I'm a little bit over it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can relate. Like when I first started doing it, I thought it was really cool. And, you know, I was so proud of, because it is a cool job. I think it's probably, we were just
Yeah.
kind of talking about this before we kind of really got going, but it's I think it's a really cool, fun job. And,
You know, like I don't see myself really doing anything else, at least in like the near future. I mean, I'm still a baby, so what the fuck do I know about anything?
yeah, there's a lot of,
It's not bad.
pretty good.
That is pretty
Probably is
good.
a little bit more triple sec, maybe.
I'm a little shocked.
Yeah, it's very good. Cool. I would cheers you. It's just so full. Here you
Yeah,
go.
it's like-
Cheers.
yeah,
So, yeah, no, I should probably drink after I do the cheers, right?
it's like bad luck if you don't.
Yeah, I know. God forbid I have bad luck. You know, I already got enough of it as it is.
Yeah, my life's going so great right now. Like, I mean,
Yeah. No, I mean, it's fine. I don't know. So, anyways, how was the weekend?
I worked.
Yeah.
Man,
We
I mean,
worked together.
you have to. I mean, you know, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, kind of Sundays, depending
Yeah.
on where you work. But I mean, if you don't work the weekend, like,
Oh, yeah.
you got
Well,
nothing.
Yeah, that's one thing, though, I do like about Truck Yard is the fact that, you know, on a random Tuesday, you know, some people decide they want to have like a bike night or whatever. And then you
Yeah.
get flooded with people, you know. And it's like, you know, you could do really well on a Tuesday. Most other places, most people don't want to work like a Tuesday
Yeah.
night. But it's like, I want to work as much as I can because you just never know. You roll the
Yeah.
dice, it could be 70 degrees, and it's just to get all these people coming out.
Like
you
a
know,
random
and
private event comes
yeah,
out, like the
random-
other night
yeah.
with that company that came in.
That was pretty righteous, man. Like, what time did
Bro.
they end up leaving?
Like 1 a.m.
Okay,
I
that's good.
I think I left at 1. They all trickled out.
I was like
45,
really
12,
kind of
50.
like low key salty because I was like, because I know like before you did me a favor, so I was
Yeah.
like, I owe you a favor, but let's, we got this party, let's leave it
Yeah.
up to chance here, and we played rock paper scissors.
No, that's skill.
And
That's
yeah,
skill.
he think it's skill.
Yeah,
and so we won, you won, right?
Yeah.
Every hour matters when you're working like a 5 or 6 hour shift. And,
well, yeah, when you make $30 an hour,
yeah.
$40 an hour,
Yeah.
that even just like that 45 minutes is
and
a
I
difference.
like, and I'm kind of like I'm kind of up and down about the Grat Share thing that we do, the app thing, because you can kind of see what everybody else made, and all that stuff, and I think that's pretty interesting, because in the past, like even when I got into this industry, and I was serving tables for a little bit, my number one thing was like I don't want to tell people how much I made, so that because they get. If like you get a good section or whatever, then that makes them jealous. They want that section, then it causes like a rift. Like, why is that motherfucker always getting this section or whatever, So it's like I always kind of kept that on the DL. And plus, you have your regulars come in and like give you, whatever. I just always had talked about, oh, I got a good tip or I got this, but I never really was trying to flaunt how much money I was making and stuff, But like it's a different kind of level of accountability with this app, whatever. So it's like you can kind of see. Everything that goes into it, which is kind of cool, I guess. But then I looked at that Grat Share the next day and I was like, fuck, I really wish I would have closed like I was supposed to do.
Right.
But that was cool. That was, they went hard, So,
They did. They had like a $500 tab originally. It went up to like $2,400.
Yeah. And how many, it wasn't even that many people really.
It was like around. 40.
Yeah, but then like.
But at the end, it was like maybe 10 people ended up staying.
But they were like, I think 40 people showed up, 20 people dropped off immediately, and then there was like 20 people left because they were upstairs for a while, so it really started to get cold.
Yeah.
And then around like when they had like a $750 so tab, upstairs, and that's when most of them started to go downstairs. And then I came downstairs.
Right.
But then like I just thought that was pretty impressive because none of those people seemed like really over the top wasted. Like these people were real drinkers.
They like came in and were hyped up.
Working,
Yeah,
and McAfee or whatever, however is it McAfee? It's that security.
Yeah. Is that what they were?
Yeah,
I knew they had come in from like all over the U.S., but I didn't know what company they worked for.
And I thought there was some kind of scandal with their company stealing people's data too. I was I thought there was some big thing, whatever. And like normally I would want to look this up and double check myself, but I don't really care that much about it.
It's not like
I heard something.
It's not like a huge thing.
Yeah, I like heard about it or whatever, and I kind of just thought that like that was like I just heard about that scandal or whatever, and I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. I was just kind of surprised that those people are still like going, strong or whatever. Like that company, is still around or whatever doing. But I guess it is. I mean, I have a Mac, so I don't need fucking antivirus software, But And plus, I don't watch porn on my computer. I only watch it on my phone.
Yeah, you go to the private tab and it's just like...
I mean, why would you just be stuck watching porn on your computer? I want to be everywhere.
Mobile.
I want to be mobile.
Yeah.
Just, that's how I live my life, so.
Always on the move. I got you.
Well, with the porn.
Yeah.
Mostly working here, but the porn, working here. No,
working here. No, yeah.
So when did you start bartending?
Well... If you mean like consecutively, I just started at PF Chang's probably like right around this time last year, like late January. I bartended a little bit before that, but it was like 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. It was at this shitty little sports bar in the middle of Mansfield. Like nobody knew it was there. But the bartender who worked there, her name was Jessica. Mm-hmm. And she, long story short, ended up spraining both of her wrists, like in the same week, and was wearing 2 casts. And so she asked me to just like help her out with stuff. She was like, hey, I can still like pour a beer or whatever, but let me teach you like how to bartend.
Yeah.
And when it's slower, like I'll have you come back and bartend with me. She's like, and I'll just split my tips with you. I was like, bomb, all right. I'm like freshly 18. I'm like, okay, I'll do this. And nobody there cared because the managers were horrible.
Yeah.
And so that's where I kind of like got my start with it, and I loved it immediately. The whole like mixology aspect of it, I was so down for it.
Right.
I just hated that bar specifically. And then because I was never technically employed as a bartender, nobody wanted to hire me as a bartender because I technically didn't have experience. And so it wasn't until I started at PF Chang's like a year ago with Cotton. So officially, like a year.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Well, the benefit is that like our job is so
easy.
Yeah, it's so easy. It's really just about how well can you manage a crowd, because you have so many people coming at you at once all the time. And even when it's slow, everybody wants to work at the same time. It's just, crazy. But yeah, that's what I think about this thing, because I've like had experience doing a lot of different things. One of my friends just had commented on something I shared on Facebook, just saying, hey, I used to love, coming into that last spot you were, whatever you were at, and you used to make the most bomb ass drinks or whatever, but like there, we had like, it was like a crazy full craft bar.
Yeah.
Just all kinds of shit, and like I really like to cook, and so I just thought of like mixology as like a combination of flavors, but more rewarding, honestly, because I'd rather be drunk than full any day, to be honest. And of course you got to eat and shit, but I just thought it was cool because I could take stuff that because my parents really love to cook, and that's all most of my life, growing up or whatever, has been a lot of home cooked meals. And my grandpa was from Louisiana, and he we had a lot of Cajun influence and stuff, and a lot of seafood and just grilling shit and whatever. And I was like, so I kind of like took that knowledge, and I was like, well, I know what this tastes like, I know what this tastes like, I know what this tastes like. If I put it together kind of like a recipe, it's got to taste good in the glass, right? Whatever. And so that's like a thing about how most of these places come up with their menus. It's R&D, just like testing out stuff, coming up with these flavors, and is it going to work in a drink, and you can adjust stuff and even make it work, to be honest, because everybody comes up and they just like so many different things, like somebody's like, oh, what do you want, what should I get or whatever. I'm like, fuck, I don't know you,
I want a good shot.
I don't know what you like, what you gotta help me here, you know what I mean? Like because I'm glad with taking a shot of tequila and drinking a beer. I'm cool with that, you know what I mean?
Right.
But what are you looking for, and I post this thing. It was like some meme about some buddy making fun of his other buddy for ordering a blue Hawaiian, and he was like, "Yo, dude, your drink tastes like shit. I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna enjoy this cocktail," and then he like slams it and says like "fuck off" or whatever, And I'm like, yeah, this is when I started really drinking, like legally. I used to order like liquid marijuanas all the time at the bar. Like I loved that drink, and it's actually there's a lot of alcohol in the liquid marijuana.
Yeah.
I would usually get double liquid marijuanas in a pint glass, whatever, and that was just my jam. And you could just slam them. You could have like 6 of those things, and just stumble away, And I look back on that, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty, bad, but I'm not afraid to drink the girly shit. I'm really not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love the girly shit. I really do. Like, I just can't do much like sugar anymore. Like, it's just too much, because I'm not that active. So if I was like,
it's the hangover.
Yeah.
The next day, like fucks you.
I feel like if you're really active and like, shit, like you can handle stuff like that, but like I don't, if you're just kind of, in our, we don't really run around that much at truck yard, surprisingly enough. We don't really, we're kind of really just kind of.
Yeah, you're on your feet, but
you're not really running around and like expending that much energy. It's
right.
kind of strange, but because like compared to, if you're a server, you're like running everywhere, running all over the place.
Yeah, to the kitchen, to the bar, to your table, to the next table. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of miss that sometimes because I really enjoy the mixology aspect of it. Like that's what got me intrigued in bartending because I don't cook that often. I bake. I'm more of like a desserts kind of person.
You ever watch that Great British Baking Show?
I haven't.
I fucking love that show. You should watch it.
I should.
It's really good.
I've heard like good things online.
It's funny. It's funny. It's like, British people do comedy. They do their TV shows, even about serious stuff. It's all comedy all the time, and I love that.
Yeah.
They really do a good job at that. But yeah, anyways, continue. Yeah.
Oh no, you're good. But
Baking's cool.
okay. I love to bake. That's why I bring like the fudge and shit up to truck yard because it's just like
I haven't had any of your fudge.
You haven't?
No.
I'll make you some.
Damn.
It's really good.
Yeah, I've made some fudge before.
It's like ruined other fudge for me. I mean,
Really?
it's not. I didn't make it up. I found a
I
recipe
gotta try
online.
this, yeah.
It is because like sometimes you get fudge and it tastes really good, but like the consistency is off. It's like too like
Texture.
creamy or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
No, I make a good.
Damn.
fudge.
I like a fudge that's really not too sweet.
Yes.
I like a fudge that's like I'm a big dark chocolate fan.
Yeah.
You know, I like that dark chocolate.
going
and I don't want it to be like too sweet is what my palate is, you know.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's the trick is you have to use when you make a fudge, you have to use a semi-sweet chocolate.
yeah.
Like you can't when you're baking, you don't want to use sweet ingredients because almost every recipe calls for like a sweetened condensed milk or
Right.
like sugar or whatever. So all your other ingredients should be bitter so
Right.
that it levels out because you don't
Makes
want
sense.
anything like you don't want to get cavities when you eat your candy, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just I haven't seen. Yeah, speaking of that, I haven't seen a dentist in like I don't know. Man.
Okay, so I'm not the only one, right?
Yeah, I have a good trick though. Honestly, have you ever heard of oil pulling?
No.
So you do like I get some raw coconut oil or whatever, it's like kind of like hard-ish at room temperature. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
And so you like take a little teaspoon of that or so, and you just put it in your mouth, and you just swish it around your mouth for 10, 20 minutes. I do it when I walk my dog, and so
What?
like
That's a long time.
yeah, not really. I mean,
Really?
like if I walk my dog, I'm spending like 15 minutes or whatever out there.
Yeah.
That's good enough. But like you can do it every so often. Some people do it every day. I usually do it like once every few days or whatever. But like what happens is that the bacteria binds to the oil, and like so you swish it around, and then you spit out, and then you brush your teeth afterwards, and it significantly reduces the bacteria in your mouth that causes cavities, that causes other things. This is a real thing. Like trust me, like it really fucking works. And then on top of that, I get this black carbon toothpaste.
The
shit.
like charcoal toothpaste.
Charcoal, yeah, whatever. Yeah, charcoal paste.
I do use that.
I use that too sometimes or whatever, and that helps get rid of like the tartar and shit too.
Yeah.
So you do a combination of both those, and you really shouldn't need to see a dentist that often. If you have if you're not, eating extra sweet fudge every day,
Yeah.
you probably shouldn't need to see a dentist regularly. But I don't know. I do that, and I mean, it's like the science is there. I mean, it's worked for me. I don't know. Like I've turned other people onto it too. Like one of my coworkers like had a really bad. In this industry, we don't really get health insurance type shit ever.
Yeah.
So it's
There's no like benefits.
Yeah, there's no benefits
Yeah.
really. But the benefit is the freedom, like we were talking about before. But,
Right.
So like she was like having really bad tooth pain or whatever, and like on the verge of like not knowing what to do. And so I was like, hey, I turned her on to the oil pulling thing. And she was like, she came back like a few weeks later and was like, yeah, I don't have that tooth pain anymore. And I was
Whoa.
like, I know, and it's worked for me too. So I don't know. I'm just telling you, bartenders out there
Yeah.
who got fucking teeth problems, try it out. I don't know, but it's worked for me. So just a little life hack.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know where I discovered that. I forgot where I discovered that, but I discovered that somewhere, and I'm not a gypsy by any means, but like I'm into like there's a lot of natural remedies for stuff like ginger and garlic and all this other and oregano and stuff like that are natural antibiotics and stuff like that. If I get sick, I just take a fuck ton of garlic pills and whatever and stuff like that, and it kind of like my dad like has always been a fan of drinking whiskey when you have a scratchy throat about to get a cold or something like that. And my great aunt lived to be like 97, and there's some other longevity there, but all she did was drink like freaking whiskey and ate steak and mashed potatoes like every freaking day of her life or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, but.
No, I feel you on that. I saw that as an argument against like anti-vaxxers or whatever. It's like, yeah, there are home remedies, but we also have science. It's like you can have both.
Yeah,
right?
Garlic is not going to cure the measles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that.
But if your stomach hurts, then
definitely.
sure, whatever.
Yeah. Well, that whole thing with the bitters in the soda water. You ever done that before?
For hiccups?
Well, just for like if you get a stomach ache.
Oh, I've always done that for hiccups.
Oh,
A
yeah.
splash of bitters with like soda water and a lemon squeezed in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Instant cure.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't got hiccups in a while, but
I hate it. They're the worst.
I hate when you have hiccups that like just go on for like ever,
Yeah.
like hours.
You know you can die from that.
Really?
You really can.
That's crazy. You know you can die from a broken heart.
Yeah. You know you can.
Yeah.
You can.
No, I
I
know
watch a
you
lot of
can.
medical shows.
Yeah. Grey's
I've seen Grey's
Anatomy.
Anatomy at
Yeah.
least 4 times.
Nice.
But no,
Yeah.
that's what I used to want to do. Is I wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Like-
well, you still can.
Hardcore. I mean, I.
You know, you kind of are kind of like a not licensed therapist or whatever. you
Yeah.
know?
That's like a couple
So-
weeks ago. Apparently, I convinced a man to divorce his wife,
Really?
which I did
Hopefully
not.
he didn't want. Hopefully he didn't have an ulterior motive with that. Like,
Right,
why
I'm
are you
like-
gonna catch me when I fall?
I'm
Gee,
like,
you
these
know?
were not my intentions.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But no, like this guy just came up and he sat down at one of the booths
Yeah.
against the bar at Truck Yard, and I could tell he was upset. So I was like, hey, like, you know, I'm here if you need to talk or whatever. Because I mean, like you said, we're kind of like, you know, unlicensed therapists. So I'm like, if you want to
Yeah.
like get it off your chest. And he goes on basically about how he got laid off from his job a couple months ago, and ever since he got laid off, his wife's just been like super mean to him. And he was like, yeah, now that I don't have money, she doesn't like me anymore. Like,
Yeah.
long story short. And I was like, well, she sounds like a gold digger, my man. Come to find out, it's like a green card marriage or something crazy like that. She's from like Ukraine or something. And at the end, I was like, well, it sounds like she doesn't love you. And he was like, you're right. And he was like,
shit.
he's like, I'm going to go pack my stuff right now. And left. And I have not seen him since. And I felt a little bad because they weren't my intentions.
Maybe
but,
just like pulled a Dave Chappelle and went to Africa. He's like, I gotta find my roots.
Right. But I'm just like, sometimes I feel like, you know, maybe we do a little too much. Or maybe just me. Maybe it's just me.
No, I mean I can definitely relate to that stuff. Sometimes some people come up and they ask some very serious shit. They're like, you know, hey, what should I do? And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I don't know what you should do because I like don't have any. I like you know, I'm single, no kids. You know, just pretty much don't have a plan day to day. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I just kind of wake up and just kind of do whatever I want, kind of whenever I want. And you shouldn't ask the advice of somebody like that because that is not reality. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? For most people, like that is like that's kind of just a really not really good way to live. Honestly, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I just never really know what's going on, you
Yeah.
know, but I
Yeah,
don't know, it's
no.
fun. Keeps you on your toes,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, yeah, I find myself
know,
in this
but-
weird position of like, I have a lot of life experience because I did a lot of stuff way younger than I should have, but I'm also 21.
yeah.
Like,
So let's talk about
I
that.
mean-
so it's not foreign knowledge.
No.
You told me, you know, that you had been a stripper, right?
yeah, you don't have to
And-
whisper. It's not a secret.
I just, it's like just, you know, I know it's not a secret. I just,
Yeah.
that was just, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But and like the only reason why I bring that up is because, you know, you told me and then you've told other people.
Yeah.
And so
I'm a
just
total, like,
and
I don't
so-
believe in secrets.
and-
I'm a total
and-
open book.
And you know, I don't know. I gotta say, I'm envious of that because I wish I had confidence like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's gotta require a crazy level of confidence. And then, you know, you take that to a bar type of scenario, and you know, like you got to be on top. You know, I mean, you just have seen it all already. So like,
Yeah.
how is anything else gonna phase you? Like I have problem talking to women. Like, you know, I mean, like if somebody asked me for my number on Saturday, and I'm so
Yeah.
weird. You know, I'm just such a weird. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know. Like I'm just a weird guy. I'm
Right.
like, why are you asking me for my number? I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to like. I'm not very confident in that regard. You know, and I'm just envious of people who are. You know, and like
Yeah.
we had this guy last night. So these two people, I could tell right away. You know, they were on like a date. You know, like a early date.
Right.
And it turned out to be their first date or whatever.
Okay.
And this guy, you know, very handsome guy, you know, and very attractive female, and he was just really not like, just really, you know, bombing here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, just real. I'm like, dude, come on, man. It's like, how can you not be confident if you're such a handsome fella?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just, or whatever, and I'm like, I'm envious of it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm like, I don't understand, the only thing that saves me is my ability to talk to people, and
Right.
stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's how I get by in this life, but like, some people can just get by, without saying anything and just being handsome. I was like, man, I wish I was in your shoes with my confidence and your looks, and I would be killing this date.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, I wanted to take him aside and be like, okay, bro, like, here's the game plan. You're going to
Yeah.
put this earpiece in, and I'm going to start saying
Yeah.
stuff. And they were playing this, like, game on their phone where it was, like, taboo type of thing.
Oh, where you, like,
And,
hold it against your forehead,
hold it against
yeah.
your forehead, and then they started doing whatever, like,
Yeah.
guessing stuff and doing accents or, I don't know. And it was fun. Like, she was just, like, leading the whole time. Like, she was a really, really, like, guiding this date, and he was just kind of like, I was like, bro, you need to just like dig into this, man. She's into you, bro. It's like she's into this or whatever.
Yeah.
You need to like dig into this, man.
Right.
You need to live your life.
Yeah.
Stop just sitting there.
You gotta put yourself out there. Like,
Yeah, just stop just sitting there being a cuck.
yeah.
Jesus, man. I was angry. I
Yeah.
was like, you need to be doing better, bro.
Getting like way too invested in like these other people's like personal problems. I
know. And like, I mean, they were, really kind of just doing their own thing. But then some other people were kind of noticing, that I had these two other chicks, and they were kind of like, noticing this thing going on because there was only like 6 people, and it was
Right.
like 11 p.m. last night.
Yeah.
And then they were like, hey, are those people like on a date or whatever? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking it's like the first day. So we were like trying to make bets. And so like this,
Yeah.
Jake had sent these chicks down with, and of course, how many times you get somebody to ask you to charge their phone?
Oh, every day.
Like, how many
Every
times a
day.
day? I'm just saying, like, a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so Jake had sent these fucking chicks down. They were drunk as shit.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey, the bartender upstairs like told me if it came downstairs you could charge my phone. I was like, God damn it,
Yeah.
bro. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why did you do this to me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. And like, you're looking around, there's like really no plugs, but there was like
Yeah.
there was one above the ATM up there. And there was kind of one over here. And so I just started talking to them and joking with them. So I didn't have to charge their phone.
Yeah.
And then she's like, so there's like, can you charge in the office? I was like, we're really not supposed to take this, customer stuff back there, you know what I mean? Like, but, and then she's like she sees a plug above the ATM. Let me see if I can reach this, plugs in her phone. And then, I turn around and do whatever. I was eating some food, and then I come back, and she had asked that dude, to help them get the phone. She's like, I can't reach the plug or whatever. I was like, bitch, you plugged it in. He's like, I can't reach the plug. Can you get the plug? And so they asked him what date they were on or whatever, and because they were wanting to put money on it.
Oh my God.
And I was like, and then he comes over there and unplugs or whatever, and they ask him, and so they call me over there like, you were right, it's date number 1. I was like, I know, I'm like, I'm disappointed in this guy. And then she made a good point. She was like, well, they'd had a study out saying like, if you meet somebody within the first 10 seconds, if you want to go on a second date with them. And so I was like, holy fuck, that's a crazy good point. Maybe they were, and she's too much for him or something, and he's like already checked out. And I was like, wow, I kind of sympathize with the guy now.
Oh, yeah.
I totally had changed my mind. I didn't even think about that at all. So I was like, okay, poor guy. At the end of all this, at first I was like, oh, you're a bitch, and then I'm like, dude,
here's your tab, sir.
I'm
Have
like,
a good night.
I'm sorry. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, but it was wild. And so those two chicks, just to finish this all off, they were Ubering and stuff, and one of the chicks had her kid. It's 11:30 p.m. Okay? Don't do that, people.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are you being parents? Why?
Right,
Why
like if the rule is 21 and up after 9, that doesn't mean if you get your kid in there at 8:45.
They have been there for a while,
Like,
but
come on.
But yes, and you're
Like,
right.
take 'em home.
I know it's Sunday night, okay, and there's
Yeah.
not a lot going on, and there's not a lot of. But what I really like about our job is that you can really say a lot of stuff
and get away with it, yeah.
that you can't, because people love it. People love it.
Yeah.
It's not that we can just say it and then people are like, oh, but no, people want it.
Yeah.
They're saying it. They
Yeah.
want you to be on, part of their shit,
Yeah.
And I love that.
It's like the only customer service role where the customer isn't always right. Like you can just tell them, be like, "You're wrong. Fuck off. Like I
Yeah.
know what I'm doing. You don't."
Yeah.
And they're just like, "Oh well, okay then."
Yeah, for sure. But and it's like, but it's like, the reason why you say that stuff is because like, hey, I'm right and I can help you get what you want.
Right.
You know what I mean? So listen to me because I'm gonna make this experience better. I'm the captain. Okay.
Yeah.
Like look at I'm the leader here.
Yeah.
You need to relax.
Yeah.
And you need to let me do my job.
I'm sober,
You know what I
you're
mean?
not.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. But so anyways, this freaking chick, she gets really drunk and I knew they were Ubering and stuff, and it was fine. And they actually seemed really fine. But then at the very end of everything, they got into some argument with themselves, 2 women and this kid. And it's very emotional stuff going on here. And I don't know what they were arguing about. And this one chick had called the Uber, and I went over there, and I was like, you guys, because we actually had talked for a while. And I was like, oh, you guys leaving or something? I was like, I'll come back and hang out, whatever. And I wanted to stay without the kid, but they were leaving and stuff. And I saw them kind of stumbling, walking. The chick was kind of helping the other chick, right? And the kid is walking in front of them. It's so sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like your mom is getting drunk as fuck at this bar late on
yeah.
a Sunday night. This kid was old enough for school, definitely. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And like she's gonna grow up, probably gonna be a porn star. I'm just saying, probably. and so one chick had left her gloves. So I go out there, I'm like, oh, here's your gloves or whatever. And this chick was pretty sober and gorgeous and stuff. And, she was like the one who was like really talking to me and stuff. And the other chick was like just, obviously had some issues. And it's just very tragic. This whole thing was very tragic with the kid and her or whatever. And this other person was here. So I took her gloves and stuff. So then I turn around and go back, and I heard like this like clunk or whatever, and the other chick had fallen on the cobblestone because you know how it's all like unlevel. Well, they were wearing these big old heel, like big old boots, with the heels, the boots with the fur.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Everyone was looking at her.
Everybody was looking at her. I was looking at her, and I didn't see it happen, but she had fallen, so I went over there, and I just picked her up, like I just, because she's very small, and I just pick her up, and they're gathering, she's like, hey, come here, get your mommy's phone. It's so sad,
Yeah.
And I'm like, come get your mom's phone or whatever, So then the
Yeah.
other chick gets her purse and stuff, and then I help her up. I'm like, hey, you gotta help. The Uber had pulled up, or I was like, hey, you're gonna help her around here, whatever. Do you need me to come up there? She's like, no, it's okay, I got it, or whatever, And I was like, okay, all right, well, y'all have a good night. But it was just so tragic.
Yeah. So get your life together.
And I'm like, just don't do this stuff. Why are all these people having kids? My brother, he's gonna watch this. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna tell you what. My brother and his girlfriend came over, and it was like shortly kind of after, it was like some Thanksgiving or some, no, it was after my, a couple weeks after my dad's birthday. My brother's like, hey, can I come over? And, I got you a present or whatever. So they bring over this little bag with the whatever paper, what do you call that paper?
The wrapping paper?
No, it's just like the really thin paper.
Tissue paper.
Tissue paper, yeah. So anyways, I don't know why that's important, but anyways, so they bring over this thing, with the whatever tissue paper and stuff, and then I'm here, and like my dad's like, oh cool, what is this, and it's like opens it up, or if it's a sonogram. My brother's 21.
Oh no.
Yeah, my brother's 21. His girlfriend's 21.
I mean, oh yes, if we're excited about it. But...
No, let me get to that.
Okay.
So I'm 28,
Yeah.
and rapidly approaching 29 here very soon. And I don't have any kids and stuff like that. I just feel like I would want to give my kids a really great life.
Yeah.
And stuff, and I know a lot of people have kids for a lot of different reasons, but my brother, I'm just gonna say this. I don't care if you see this. You shouldn't be having a kid. Okay, you're 21 and you got your whole life to experience.
Yeah.
And then once you have something like this, that's a forever thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that just is there, forever. And I think a lot of the people, and I'm not saying this is him, but I'm saying a lot of people, because he's a very level-headed guy. He's a very, he cares about his girlfriend, and, they live together, and he, he's very responsible. He doesn't get fucked up. He doesn't do any kind of crazy drugs, and doesn't drink a whole lot, and all this other stuff. And he's like he would be a really good dad, I think, maybe. But I think a lot of these other people that are just having kids, they don't think it through. They just do it. They're like, oh, this is going to be a great new chapter in my life. But have you even finished the first book yet? Like, it's like this life is just a very complicated thing.
Yeah.
And like, for example, this chick comes in and she can't even have somebody watch her kid while she goes out and gets like plastered drunk at the bar.
Yeah, it's like if you can't get a babysitter, then don't go out. That's the reality of being a parent.
And I know this sounds all bad to hear, but with everything considered, when I was serving these people, they were fine, and we were having like great conversation, everything. I don't know what the fuck happened in between drink. I gave them one more drink. I don't know what the fuck happened in between the time that we were talking and they had one more drink, which they didn't even finish, where she was just so drunk that she couldn't, I don't know what she did. You know what I mean? And that's the problem with our job, is the responsibility of people not only drinking, but taking pills or smoking or doing other kinds of shit while they're drinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, girls go to the bathroom in this group and you never know what the fuck they're doing in there.
Know.
It's like...
Yeah, you never know. And it's wild. Gordon Ramsay...
I agree, Gordon Ramsay
has this thing. I really had to take a sip. Gordon Ramsay has this thing where he like went to all of his restaurants, and there's this wipe you can buy that turns blue in the presence of cocaine. Okay. And so he went to all the bathrooms. He went to the public bathrooms, wiped off the sinks, wiped off the toilets, found blue specks, whatever, at every one of his restaurants. And then he went, and then they also, in his restaurants, because they're super fancy, they have employee restrooms. And he went to his employee restrooms and found cocaine as well. He's like, so this is today. Somebody has used cocaine today in this restaurant, one of my employees. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, so you just never know what people are doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, in this industry especially, even Cotton said it, our GM, he's like, hey, it's like we work in the restaurant industry. It's like people are coming to work high as giraffe pussies, but like, it's like, are you doing your job? Are you having great customer service? Are you making good drinks? Are you not stealing, of course, like as a number one rule?
Right.
Like a couple people have gotten fired for that in our jobs, more recently. But like, if you're doing everything fine or whatever and you're not fucking up, like, it's not like, you have like some government contract job, whatever. It's like,
bars don't drug test you when you apply.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's kind of just like a known factor. Like, I mean, it's a stereotype for like all bartenders are, alcoholics and druggies, And I mean, to an extent, it's pretty true.
Yeah, but it's not really true though.
But it's not like,
to an extent,
but it doesn't mean we have like, I mean, it could be a problem depending on how you look at it, but as long as you're coming in and like doing your job, I mean, it's like the people who, when you get like a regular office job and you get fired because you're, smoking weed or whatever.
Right.
Even if you're not smoking it at work, you're coming in, doing your job perfectly. It's like, oh, well, we don't want that in our environment. It's like in a bar, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, exactly. Because everybody else, that's it's
everyone else there is fucked up too.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because that's what you go to a bar for. You go there to get fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot more things go into that than just alcohol. It's like, I mean, I also work in a music venue. It's like people there are always smoking weed, and you're not supposed to inside, but it's like, there's no way to stop them all. You got 2,000 people there or whatever, and they're all, half of them are smoking pot. Like, what are you going to do? Like, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, especially at concerts and shit. People are always like dropping acid or whatever they want to do.
Yeah, it's like, crazy. And we had this show on Friday I worked. It was like a weird show. We had like Jason Boland and the Stragglers, some country band. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. And then we had it was just two bands. They opened, and then we had the second band called Leftover Salmon. Okay, and I saw this bill, and I was like, okay, so Leftover Salmon's got to be opening. That's a weird fucking name. I never heard of this band.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty like musically affluent. I've seen like thousands of shows at this point.
Right.
So like, I'm just kind of like, I've never heard of this fucking band. So apparently they're like a jam band, like a Fish or Grateful Dead or some shit like that, right? So like, and they're really good. With all due respect to Leftover Salmon, I really enjoyed it. And but Jason Boland which is also, he had like a really hit song like 5 years ago.
Okay.
And somebody told me this, like apparently country music has like is like rap a lot because they have like, they have relevance. Like if you haven't come up with anything, if you're not relevant, like if you don't have anything on the charts, nobody's going to go to your show or some shit like that, apparently. In Texas, because there's a lot of competition with Texas country, right? So I guess, I don't know this stuff. This is just what somebody told me, one of the producers at Live. So I was like, okay, I didn't know this shit. So they were opening for this band. And then so it was like half of the crowd was like really country people, and the other half of the crowd was like tie-dye, dreadlocks, like a bunch of wooks and like whatever. And like who knows what the fuck they were doing. And this one guy came up to me and like it was really wild, and he was just like, hey, I was making him I poured him a beer, right? And then I'm giving him the beer, and he's like, man, this song, I love this song, man. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, He's like, this song is about just having the best day of your life and just loving it, man. I'm just like, okay, that's $9.75, whatever.
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
And then another guy came up to me and he was like, yeah, hey, man. So I want a Long Island, but I don't like the sugar, dude. So can you do like, squeeze some lemons and some limes in there? And what's that stuff, that schnapps or whatever? I was like, triple sec. He's like, yeah, can you just like not put any of that in there, so everything else, and then just like a bunch of lemons and limes or whatever and stuff. So like I made him like a Long Island minus triple sec with water, and I could tell he kind of wanted me to squeeze the lemons and limes or whatever, but I just gave him a cup.
Yes.
With lemons and limes, and I'm like, create your own drink, motherfucker. Like welcome to Build-A-Bear. Here you go. And I just like. And then I could tell he was just kind of like, I'm like, dude, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm not going to squeeze 6 lemons and 6 limes in there. Like,
I'm like, and I'm just, he's just like, yeah, man, I really like a Long Island, but I don't like all the sugar. I was like, why do you like a Long Island?
Yeah,
that's a
so
garbage.
You don't like
that's
Long
a garbage
Islands,
drink.
yeah.
I've said it once. I've said it twice. I said it again today. It's a garbage drink. Like if I hate myself, I'm gonna order a Long Island. If I like really want to get really fucked up and sad, I'll probably order that. You know what I mean? I have ordered them in the past, but it's just the thing where a lot of times, let me get a Strong Island, I'm just like, dude, the destination you're going is not a good one. You know what I mean? Why don't you just get like
you're not going to have a good time.
Why don't you just get a double something? You know what I mean? Just get a double vodka or double this. Why do you have to mix it all together and then just hate yourself?
Well, people think they're getting so much bang for their buck with a Long Island when it's like, because they're like, well, because it has vodka, gin, and rum in it. It's like, well, yeah, but you're only getting half an ounce of each of those.
You're not supposed to mix those things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not really...
It's like when people order, like, talking about shots or whatever, people order, like an adios motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not going to have a good time. That shit's disgusting.
It's terrible.
Like...
What drink do you hate to make? If somebody comes up, oh no, why are you doing that?
Everyone's going to know your password now, bro.
Nah, dude. See how fast I was?
We need to go that frame by frame. I don't know. I actually
a midget keyboard. Sorry, midgets out there. This is a dwarf keyboard. My bad.
Yeah, I'm offended.
Everybody is so offended, but I don't give a fuck. And that's the thing about this is like, I think I've said it before. I think the bar is like the last. I don't mean to cut you off your story.
No, you're good.
We're gonna get back, but I think the bar is the last place where you can really say stuff because people like. If anybody gets upset, you're just like, hey, you want a shot or whatever? You want to, let me get you a whiskey or let me get, whatever. You want a tequila. At Truck Yard, it's $4. For like a shot of something. So you're like, hey, let me do this for you or whatever, and if somebody else at the bar pisses somebody else off, I'm like, that person will be like, hey, well, let me buy you a shot. And then I've seen this so many times, I'm sure you have too. It's like, you know what, fuck it. I know I got served before you or whatever. I'll buy you a shot too.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then they're like, fine, everything is fine. It's wonderful to see. Everywhere else in the whole world, everybody's so offended about stuff.
Yeah.
But at the bar, it's like there really is none of that. I don't think people ever really get offended, ever.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
No, I think we live in this weird culture right now where like I'm on the younger end. Like I said, I'm 21. And so I'm kind of in that generation of like everything offends me. And I mean, there's shit out there that is offensive, but I don't understand the need to like be a victim these days.
Yeah.
Because it's like we were talking about, like, trauma or whatever earlier. It's like everyone goes through their own shit.
Yeah,
Like,
everybody does.
everyone has had, like, a weird babysitter, or, everyone's had, like, their parents, spanked them or
Yeah.
whatever. And the people who, like, make it their life mission to just get mad about that stuff, I'm like, you are, like, nobody's going to listen to you. Because, like, I found that the majority of people just don't want their opinion changed, And so it's like you going on fucking Twitter and, doing a thread with 12 fucking tweets about, I can't believe, the parents still spank their kids or whatever. You're abusing your child. It's like, just keep that shit to yourself, because no one cares. No one's gonna read your Twitter thread and be like, you know what, you're right, I should stop spanking my kids. It's like, no, they're still gonna spank their kids.
I mean, I agree with you 1,000%. I think it's just like, I don't, as far as like my whole beliefs with anything go, I don't, as long as you do something that doesn't affect me, like if you're doing something that doesn't affect me, I do not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, you can do whatever, you can be whatever you want to be, you can identify with whoever you want to identify as, you can, like, I know it sounds fucking stupid to say that stuff or whatever, I guess, but like, as long as you're not telling me what to do, like, I don't care. Because, like, I grew up very, like, punk rock, I just wanted to be myself. And I don't want somebody telling me how to live my life. I want to dress how I want to dress. I want to listen to what I want to listen to. I want to do what I want to do. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you what to do.
Right.
I never tell somebody, hey, that sucks. You should do this. I will never, ever say that to anybody, ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just will tell somebody, hey, that's not in my scope necessarily, but that's cool. I love that you love that. That's great. Whatever.
I'm like, as long as I thankfully grew up with awesome parents. I mean, my parents were very, they're very, like, very chill. They're like, politically they're very conservative, but I say they were very liberal parents, because they were very, like, when I was growing up, it was like, hey, as long as you tell us what's going on, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Right.
It was that whole, like, as long as you do it in your safe mentality.
Right.
Which, I mean, worked out great for me. Because, like we were saying, I have, like, life experience or whatever, because my parents were very, like, they let me do whatever I want. But then that turned into, now I'm 21, I'm, like, the only one of my siblings who has moved out of the house. I'm living not on my own. I'm engaged to a man I love very much. I have a dog. I have a job. I pay all my bills.
He's very cool too. I met him at that party. He's a cool guy.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like, I mean, I didn't go to college or anything, but who cares? Because that's a whole other stupid thing.
I'll tell you what. That's what my opinion of that is. So real quick, my buddy Travis was on here the last episode. I'm sorry to call this out here, but and maybe I shouldn't really say this, but maybe this doesn't have to do with him.
Yeah.
I say a lot of people nowadays, there are a lot of websites you can go to where you can find the whole test.
Yes.
Okay, and this doesn't have to do with him.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of places, you can go and you can find the whole test, and there's some sites you can pay money.
Yeah.
And have people write your stuff.
Like Edgy Birdie or whatever had that whole scandal.
And I've known people who have had whole essays written by somebody else that pay money.
Yeah.
And they literally do nothing. And, are getting a master's degree.
Yeah.
And it's all a big money thing. And then you get this piece of paper, which makes me mad, because I'm like, man, fuck, maybe I should do it too. Just for shits. Because if it just costs money, then I don't have to do anything. Why not? But I think the problem with school is that people aren't really allowed to learn what they want to learn.
Yeah. And
what I think is magical is that you can go on the internet, and I know a lot of shit on the internet is really bad, especially in the early days of the internet. But a lot of stuff on the internet is really bad and useless. But like there's so much gold, and there's so much knowledge, and you can even pay for knowledge.
Right.
On your own accord. Like a lot of times, like I'm too busy doing stuff to like read a book, but I love to read, so I do the Audible shit.
Yeah.
So I listened to the book. And, you know, hey, as much as the managers may hate to hear this, I do that at work all the time
Yeah.
when it's really slow. And, you know, on these morning shifts, we all take those hits, you know, we do those morning shifts. And, you know, I will listen to a book and stuff. And I feel like it's just easier, you know, but I'm still learning stuff. You know what I mean? You just never stop learning. And if you learn on your own accord, you pay attention, you learn more stuff. When you're forced to learn, you don't learn as much.
Yeah.
You know, like you just, you know, they're like, you're never going to have a calculator, you know, whatever on you, so you got to learn how to do this. I'm like, bitch, I'm recording this podcast with my phone now.
Yeah.
So like, I've got a supercomputer right there.
And my calculator's on there.
In my pocket.
Yeah.
I'm wearing one.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, so I just think if you're not utilizing this technology for the greater good, you're fucking up, you know, because you got it all here, you know, and it's like, it's great. A lot of people, like you said, want to play a different kind of card with social media and want to be a victim and want to do all this other stuff. I'm like, it's not like you're using this tool the wrong way. You're like not doing anything with what you're given here. You know, you have a lot of potential here, you know, but yeah, I mean, I don't know the whole point of all this, but it's just like, you know, college is bullshit.
What are we here for?
College is it's like, you know, a lot of it is really great. Like there's a lot of stuff that you know, you can't learn unless, like, I'm like kind of like a doer type of person. Like I have to kind of fuck up and then learn stuff or whatever. You know, if I just read a book about calculus, I would like not be able to, you know, do well. Like, but who the fuck needs that really, to be honest, anymore? You know, they got AI and shit doing calculus. You know, but you know, I just think it's hilarious how people I know, you know, are getting like degrees and stuff, and they literally don't know anything.
Yeah.
They have a piece of paper, and I'm gonna go back to my buddy Travis. He's a very smart guy. This does not apply to him, but like I'm just saying, there are people that we know, you know, that are in the same thing, that are fucking ignorant, you know, that have not learned anything, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I think school would be better if, like, you could kind of have a little bit of experience, kind of know what you want to do, kind of, like, have stuff that's more, like, streamlined into, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, stuff that's more, like, you know, why learn art history if you're going to be in, you know, I don't know, whatever. If you're going to be a marine biologist, I don't know. Why do you need to learn that? You know what I mean? Like, just do more streamlined stuff, because they have, like, those required credits.
Right.
And, you know, I technically have an associate's degree, you know, because I've got all these credits, and I just, you know, I have like, 3.5 more hours before I have an associate's degree. But I had just like, you know, just really spurts of not giving a fuck, to be honest.
Yeah. And
making good money and being like, why do I need this at all? But, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like if you want to learn stuff, you can learn it. Nobody's stopping you. Why do you get out of college and stop learning stuff?
Right.
You just always have to learn. Like college is not a term of learning. Your whole life is learning, you know?
Yeah.
And like bartending too. It's like constantly learning drinks and constantly learning stuff. It's like which brings us back to our whole thing. You know, people come up all the time like, hey, do you know how to make an Irish trash can? I was like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, has no Jameson in it, which is like crazy. No Baileys. Whatever, nothing. You know, and I'm like, I had to look it up.
I know it has Red Bull in it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen one, but I've never made one.
You know what it is? It's an adios motherfucker with Red Bull.
Is that all it is?
Yeah, basically. And so I'm like, what is Irish about this? You know, somebody came up and ordered it from me.
That has a lot of alcohol in it? I don't know.
Somebody came up and ordered it from me, you know? And I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. So I was like, I wanted to make him happy, so I Googled it real fast. I was like, oh shit. This is like easy, you know?
Right.
And they're like, well, it's supposed to have the Red Bull can in there. I'm like, dude, you got a plastic cup, bro.
Yeah, it's like this big.
The
can is bigger than the cup.
Well, no, I mean, I put it in a pint.
Oh, you put it in the truck.
Yeah, but I'm like, I'm not putting. It's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't have the big like Corona Rita glass.
It's a plastic cup, dude.
Yeah.
And there's not much you can do with this. Like, I'm just, you know, but yeah, I don't know. So that brings me back to my whole thing. What is a drink that you hate to make that people order?
So I'm going to go with skinny margaritas. And not because I actually enjoy making them. I like making stuff by hand, like we were talking about like mixology earlier.
Yeah.
But the issue is that like no one's ever happy with a skinny margarita, like specifically skinny margaritas. They always think you made it wrong. Like, have you ever had somebody who ordered a skinny margarita and first try they were like, "This is perfect"?
I mean,
because they're always like, you put, I can taste the sugar in this, or you put an orange in here, or whatever you did wrong.
Well, that's what's fucking crazy is that everybody makes margaritas different. Like in my I love that we have one on tap.
Yes.
Which is different at Truck Yard, but at Gas Monkey, like everybody makes their margarita fucking different, dude. We got like people putting like a little bit of OJ in there, whatever. I'm like, there's no consistency here, you know. And I'm like, so the answer is yes. You know, like I've had people who like it, but then they're married to you.
Yeah, they can't ask anyone else because no one else knows how to do it. Or old fashions.
They're married to you,
right?
You know, at that
Everyone
point.
makes it like
if you make something that they like,
they're
gonna come to you every time. And then you have several people, you know, coming up, you know, all for the same different reasons or whatever, you know. And then like all of a sudden you have a line and nobody else. No, I'm waiting for this guy. I'm like, okay, fuck. Well. I mean, I split tips with all these bitches, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they're all getting paid off of, you know, but hey, I mean, like, you know, you can't, at the end of the day, you can't be salty about that stuff. But you can't help but be salty about it at the same time. You know what I mean? It's human nature.
It's like, I mean, because it does balance out, and overall, I am totally for the tip share, like, that we do specifically at Truck Yard. Because you think, well, like, oh, on Fridays we do it all day, right? But on a Friday morning, if you check the, you know, the WeScan or whatever, it's like, all right, well, they made $200 and we made $2,000, you know, but they're still part of that like tip pool.
Yeah.
But then when you work Friday morning, you're like, wow, I worked, you know, my 5 hours, did nothing, and made $500. So
it's
or whatever it is,
fucked
you
up,
know,
kind of. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
Just like it's like a little weird. I definitely think we should either do it all day, every day. Yeah. Or it should not be at all.
I'm actually for that. I think we should do it all day, every day. Only have down bar open Monday through Thursday, and then Friday you have both of them open, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, I mean, have it. You know what I'm saying?
Or like Thursday have upstairs open or whatever works out too.
Because like you know, I'm gonna tell you, it's like brutal. You know what I mean? Like working those mornings sometimes. You know,
like a Monday or Tuesday morning. Like
nobody's coming in there. Like it's just only fair. And like check it out. You know, you have like 2 other people working on a Monday night, whatever. You know, you got one more person to cut in. So really, really y'all are only losing like what, like.
Yeah, like you throw that person's, you know, $30 or $40 or $50 or whatever it is into the pool, and then they're probably just gonna make that $50 back anyway.
Exactly.
But it makes them feel better about it that like I wasn't like excluded.
You're only losing like what, $10 or something like that or whatever to do it all. Maybe and like oftentimes like what I said earlier. You know, if it rains or whatever, you know, the whole thing is fucked. Yeah. You know, so like there are days that like, you know, New Year's Day, I made good money, you know, that day. You know what I mean? And, you know, like once in a blue moon time, I made really good money that day, right? And then, you know, I heard at night, you know, I mean, it was like not good at all, you know, whatever. And so I'm like...
I mean, I've worked a morning shift like with a private event where I walked out with $250 just because this event, and then that night they all made like $40, and so I mean it happens every once in a while, but then you think
you want another one?
Sure, but then you think like, oh well, like the nighttime people, and I mean they're generally pretty good about.
Dogs.
I know they're so cute.
They love me. I don't know. My dog. If I could find somebody who loved me as much as my dogs. God, that'd be a jackpot. Holy shit. Anyways, go
ahead. But yeah, I mean, they're generally pretty good about rotating the schedule, but you think, like, you know, the nighttime people end up making so much money most of the time that it's like those morning people, when they make money, like, why shouldn't they split it?
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. I'm definitely for the, like, all day, every day.
Yeah.
Splitting of the tips.
You know, the only thing, you know, because I like to play this whole like I'm on the fence type of thing. I just like to look at everything pretty objectively. I'm like, hey, what does the other side look like? I just like that, you know, like I just think that's fair, you know. So like, when it gets like, so that Shields place is opening up in April or whatever. So it's 84,000 square feet of people open, just with that one place, and 20 more places opening up in that development this year. So with all this foot traffic, we're just bound to be busy, right?
Yeah.
So like, if you are making money on a morning versus night shift or whatever, that's how at every other place I've been, it's been separate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, like, if it is a chance to be busy while like on any given day, why would we split all day? You know what I mean? Because like, what if we get a big? That's the advantage. Because then people would want to fucking work a morning shift.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to work a morning shift.
Well,
right
and
now,
if you think about
right?
something that morning shifts have to do that night shifts never have to do is transferring tabs when you leave.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you can't close everyone out. Like, if you get, if you're leaving at 5 and then at 4 o'clock, like 10 different groups walk in.
Yeah.
Even if you close out 5 of them, that's still like 5, $50, $60, $100 tabs or whatever it ends up being. Night shift just gets that money for no work. And so, I mean, stuff like that, especially because it's pretty frowned upon to, like, what are you going to do, walk around the yard with everyone's tabs and be like, I'm leaving, give me your money, It's
all good. Whatever.
Fine. Hazard of the job.
Cheap keyboard, anyways.
But yeah, like that's one of the things, like, I hate having to do that, like, leave know that I have all these tabs open, that I spent like an hour with these people and nighttime's getting that money.
The advantage, once Cotton took over the schedule, he's having people come in at 4.
Instead of 5, yeah.
That's when it gets busy. That is good. Yeah. I love that. Like, that makes a lot of sense, because you're 100% right.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of times on Fridays, nothing, 3 p.m. hits, people start coming in, and then I personally hate asking people, because I like to think, I think a lot, I'm like, okay, so if I'm in the guest point of view, how would I feel about something? I do that a lot, because I just, when I go to a bar, it's like, with people in this industry, I think a lot of people can relate. You go to a bar and you're like, you start automatically criticizing stuff, without your control. Like, it's it's just an unavoidable thing.
You're like, oh, I see a tray of dirty dishes over here that nobody washed.
God forbid you're with someone else's in the industry too.
How come it's 4 p.m. and all their bottles are capped?
Like, Jesus, it's like, so.
Right.
It's just like, it just is a thing, and it's something that you just do in this industry, and so I think about their perspective a lot. And I'm like, I would hate to come up to them. I would hate for somebody to come up to me and be like, hey, can you close out with me? Because I really want your money, because I'm going to leave. And then I know this other person's going to make all my money. But I know in the grand scope of the business, that's just part of the business. And like, it doesn't matter about me. It matters all about you, because the guest gets everything. And like, whatever, I'm just a worker here, whatever. Yeah. Like, that's like what I think. And all this stuff goes through my mind.
Right.
And I don't like to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, it is a thing in this job. It's like, hey, I'm leaving, is there any chance you want to give me your money?
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, you
know
can,
what I mean? It is a thing, and people do understand, but it is still awkward. It always is awkward.
Yeah, because it's kind of just like an unspoken thing that, like, you don't ask people to tip you. Because it's like, they know they're supposed to. I don't give a shit about this. Like, oh, well, in their culture, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. If everybody knows that here, tipping is a thing. Everyone knows we make $2 an hour. Like, we talked about this at work the other day. I always, like, work it into the conversation or whatever. Yep. Like, everyone knows we're making $2 an hour. Like, everyone...
I thought that was so fucking smooth. I was like, hell yeah. That was really good.
That's like my favorite thing, is to work it in. When I'm like, whenever anyone says like, oh, you made that drink really good, or you're really good at your job, I'm like, yeah, that's why they pay me $2 an hour, because that's what I'm worth,
Right.
And then,
exactly.
like, you just gotta, I don't
know. I try to do the same thing, because I tell people, well, like, you know, when it's a little slower and you get more time to talk to people, I'm like, yeah, so like, kind of slow. Because we've had a lot of conversations with people about how it's a little slower here right now.
Yeah, it's always like, man, this place
like,
is so big. I
yeah,
thought you'd be
I'm like,
busier.
And I'm like, well, blah, 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 whatever. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, so next year, I'm planning on working the ski season in Colorado and doing this and whatever. And I'm like, it's gonna be great because here I'll only make $2.13 an hour, but in Colorado they treat you really nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes you make 10, 15 an hour, someplace, whatever, minimum.
Right.
And I'm like, it's really nice,
Right.
And they're like, oh wow, I didn't know. That's crazy. That I'm like, yeah, dude. They Texas treats servers like shit, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever. And they're like, oh wow, And so like that's like you're not technically like turn around after and be like, hey, why didn't you tip me this? You're like kind of like just casually working that into conversation. And I thought that was like, smooth of you the other night.
Yeah.
You did that too. It's like, hey, I'm really
Yeah.
worth my $2.13 an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever. And I was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, they pay me the big bucks.
It's like I think a lot of people don't really, and I can't blame them. This is me playing the other side again, right?
I mean, some people just don't think about it if they've never worked the industry. So like, I get that.
There's that, but then they come from other states.
Yeah.
Like, hey, New York, they make fucking mad money per hour plus tips.
That's true. It differs by state.
But like, they gotta pay so much money like to live and to just function. But so it makes sense. Here in Texas, it's kind of cheap. Yeah,
I'm finding like 3-bedroom houses for like $1,400 a month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why would you pay? That's what I'm saying. Why would you pay? Because I've been looking. My last place was $1,000 a month, and it was a 1-bedroom place, and it was nice. It had a little yard or whatever, but it's not in a good area. It was like just down, nothing around it, nothing. Just fucking deep in suburbia.
Just like a little sketchy and.
I mean, just like I don't know. Why would you want to live there? Like, it's just a little bit out of the way for everything. You know what I mean? But like. You want to get a place that's in the zone. You're paying like $1,700 a month for like a, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, even 1-bedroom place. Like you go to Austin Ranch or whatever, it's like $1,400 for like a decent sized 1-bedroom apartment. Like why am I paying this? Because I could turn around and get a 3-bedroom house, like you said, whatever, and pay that. There's other stuff that comes into, having a house and renting a house and the maintenance and all this shit. But like. On the grand scope of things, it's like, why would you want to spend the money to have this little apartment when you could have a house?
Right.
But, I don't know. So I just kind of like work that in, sometimes, like we said, or whatever, like, hey, but it's like, you can't turn around and tell somebody, oh man, like,
I'm poor, give me your money.
I gotta pay 3% to this bar back, and then like you didn't even tip me 3%.
Yeah.
You're gonna give me? You can't say that shit.
No, that's always been my biggest thing. Is like when people like, especially like more so when I was serving, and you're tipping out your bussers, you're tipping out, you're tipping out the bar, like whoever. Like at the end of the night, you end up tipping out, and you tip out on sales, not on what you make. And so it's like, you could like say like a party of like, 20 people or whatever comes in, you take, they end up having a $300 tab and then they tip you, $20. Because I've noticed a lot of people, cap out at $20. Like, if their tab's $150, they should be tipping you 30, but they're only giving you 20 because they're like, they just see the 100 and they tip you $20, right?
Exactly.
And so I'm like, cool. Everyone here is assuming you just gave me, 60. But you really gave me 20. So that $40 is like, whatever. I'm still paying everybody else here. And I mean, even at Truck Yard, like where we like tip out our bar backs, again, that's on our sales. So, I mean, it's not a huge deal at Truck Yard because, I mean, we do make pretty good money, but it's still annoying. Like, it's a little different at a bar and at a restaurant, but it's like they don't realize that like, that money comes out of our paycheck.
Right.
So it's like you pay me, I pay them. Like it's a whole process. So when you don't pay me, like I, out of my pocket, am paying these people.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, I got to say, we spent a lot of time talking about people and their tipping shit and tipping shitty, rather.
Yeah.
But like, there are a lot of people that come along and tip really well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And like, so on these tabs that are like, you get $130 tab, they tip $10 or whatever. You get people who get an they buy one drink, $8.75, they tip you $3. You look at that percentage, and if you do a bunch of that stuff, it all really kind of evens out.
Yeah.
However, if those people were just human beings and not pieces of shit,
right?
It's like you just got to understand, it's like so much goes into your experience when you help me, because this is how we make our money. It's not from hourly wage.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been bitten in the ass so many times of like wanting to talk to somebody and having a great conversation with them and spending a lot of time with them and been bitten in the ass, that nowadays I have trust issues. Yeah. I'm like, who do I want to give my love to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just like,
no,
I'm
yeah.
like,
if somebody gets a Dos Equis draft and it's $6.50 and they give you 7 and want the 50 cents back, then it's like, you could be a super cool person, but it's like, because you wanted your shitty 50 cents, like, I don't want to come hang out at the table and talk to you because I already know I'm not going to get your money.
I'm emotionally detached from you already.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, because people, and okay, so like, as a bartender, I am like, I cannot justify spending a lot of money at a bar.
Right.
I cannot.
Because you know how cheap it can be.
I know how cheap.
I know this bottle of vodka cost $5. You should not be selling it to me for $5 a shot.
Hell
like,
yeah. For real.
Yeah, when you know
it's like,
behind the scenes.
The Jameson, is like, it's like what, $23 or something a bottle maybe at a higher end price.
Yeah, or like Tito's or whatever, it's like 20,
Yeah, and then like $7 a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, like after 3 shots, you pay for that whole bottle.
Yeah, the rest is profit.
But so, like, I had this conversation, and somebody was like saying, "Hey, have you ever tried Green Spot whiskey? Whatever." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, I haven't tried it yet." And so I go to the liquor store and I'm like, "It's $54 a bottle."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." Because why? Why do I need this? I've said this multiple times in my promo video. Like, we all get to the same place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You can be drinking fucking
someone's carrying
moonshine.
us home tonight, no matter what.
You can be drinking moonshine. You can be drinking fucking beer. You can be drinking Boone's Farm. Whatever. You're going to get to the same place. Now, the difference is the next day you're going to feel bad with some of the shittier shit. But the issue is that you need to be drinking water. And me and my buddy discussed this on the last podcast. I'm like, a lot of these people, they go out, they don't drink any fucking water.
Or eat something.
They don't drink any water, they don't eat anything. They fucking, and then like, oh, I'm so hungover. I'm like, bro, like, I have had very minimal hangovers ever. And the problem is, not the problem. I mean, the thing is, I love to drink. Like, and I've had to curb that back a little bit as time has gone, because like I used to have a good balance in life of working out and activity, and the drinking has been way up here. But I'm like, if you're at a good balance, you know what I mean? If you do things right, it's completely fine.
Yeah.
But if one thing, like, this is obviously good, the working out is good all the time, but if you drink way more than you are like physical, then like that's not going to be good for you.
Yeah, you're increasing your metabolism, you're burning through that shit faster.
You're going to feel like crap.
Yeah.
But like, you got to drink the water. You got to fucking, eat or whatever.
Yeah, order Domino's at midnight.
And these people complain. They're like, "Oh, well, God, I feel like so shit." I'm like, yeah, but you're not doing anything preliminary for this experience. And like, obviously drinking a shittier alcohol is going to make you feel worse the next day, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, Svedka is going to make you feel worse than Grey Goose.
But like, you don't have to drink Green Spot. You know what I mean? There's a nice line in the middle called Jameson.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you drink a lot of Jameson, most of the time you're going to feel pretty good the next day, because it's a very popular, very good alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You drink a lot of Tito's, you're going to feel fine the next day.
Right.
I've drank $200 of Tito's like a few weeks ago. I woke up fine. I went to the gym.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's like, but I drink water. I got Tito's and water. You know what I mean? Like that,
exactly.
And that's a solid drink, right? But it's like these people have a misconception. And I'm like, I can never justify having a huge tab, being a bartender,
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, that's how I make money. And that's how you make money. That's how we make money.
Right.
So I want y'all to have a huge tab. But I can't justify that because I
know better.
Because I don't get high off my own supply. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not getting high off my own supply. I'm like fucking like I'm following those 10 crack commandments.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're not allowed to drink where we work.
Yeah.
You know, like number one.
Yeah,
know?
Yeah. It's like, oh, let me buy you a shot. Nah, bro, I'm good. Like.
But yeah, it's like.
How about you give me $8 and when I get off, I'll buy myself a shot.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and my favorite thing that I tell people, like when they ask me for that shit, I'm like, so what are you guys doing after this?
Yeah.
And they're like put on the spot. They're like, oh wow, the bartender wants to come hang out with us.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I don't know. We might go over here.
Yeah, what's the move?
I'm like, okay, cool. Well, hey, I'm gonna get off. In a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I meet y'all over there? Never meet them over there. I'm just saying, give them that hope. Yeah. Hope is so important. Like just the hope is what keeps us alive.
But then that's scary. That's scary for girls though, because you hear so many fucking horror stories. I mean, this shit has happened to me. It's happened to other girls I know, like girls I work with or whatever. Where it's like when you give these dudes that hope, because this is the thing about being a girl bartender,
Well, hey, no.
It's like, hey, we can make way more money, and I'm not gonna lie about that. Like because
I'm gonna squash some stereotypes. You continue, but I'm gonna squash some stereotypes. Go ahead, keep going.
So like everyone, you get that whole like, oh well, like you can make more money than guy bartenders.
That's true.
And is like flirt or whatever, which is true.
No, it's not even flirting. Because everything I say is just like like butter on a hot tortilla, and I don't, you know what I'm saying. But
yeah,
it's the I'm not aesthetically pleasing. You know what I mean?
You're handsome. Though,
listen, no, not compared to one. Listen. As a man, men are not aesthetically pleasing. Okay, like the balls, the dick, the hair, the whatever.
Right.
It's not good to look at. Okay,
Yeah.
When they made the David. He had the chiseled body, the whatever, tiny dick.
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying, dicks are not whatever. They don't care about that.
No one cares. Yeah.
But a girl, she has the beautiful figure. The just the whole flow of it all. Beautiful.
Yeah, the curves and everything.
It's so beautiful.
I'm with you, man.
It's art. It's beautiful stuff. Okay, men not beautiful. 90% of men ugly. Even if you think Jason Momoa ugly. He's just a more handsome version than most of the other dudes. I'm just saying, when you're comparing other dudes to other dudes, like I'm just saying, but like the woman figure is something that even women like. Like I know plenty of straight women, who just like will never do anything.
Oh, like Blake Lively is so hot, and it's like
yeah. So, but it's like and that's a very woman thing to do. Like other dudes, like I call other dudes handsome. I don't want to fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like I can recognize that. You know what I mean? But like a lot of dudes are like, I don't know, I don't want to, I don't judge men, whatever. I'm like, yeah, but but like chicks are just open about it. They're so open about it. Everything flows with a woman. It's just beautiful. Everything.
We're just more like emotionally present, and that's just just science.
It's true.
Women can walk around. We can, hold hands and cuddle and like kiss on the cheek.
You guys carry whatever sex in your womb. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, y'all carry that in your body.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is a big deal. Of bridging the gap because y'all are deeply connected to whatever is growing inside you, and men don't have that. You know what I mean? Men have our masculinity. And it's how we think we get women, whatever, and how we think that they want to breed with us. But like women just acknowledge beauty in its pure form.
Yeah.
Men don't really do that. And so that's the advantage behind bartending is that women are beautiful and everybody is attracted to that. And just like when we were in the office the other day, and then James gave me a compliment. I was like, hey, you're just a married dude and whatever. Yeah. And just like, I like that means more to me than a chick because that never dudes don't do that, to each other really. You know what I'm saying? But like women are so open about it all, even if they are really comfortable, even if they just are one way in their sexuality. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, women do definitely make more money than men, for sure. I think that's definitely.
I mean, when you're in a job like bartending or whatever, when you work off tips, because it's like we all know the whole like women make 75 cents on the dollar for like what men make or 78 cents or whatever it is. But it's like, yeah, in a job like bartending, I know when like a 50-year-old dude comes in and he's wearing like a business suit and he's there for like a meeting or whatever, I know that if I say certain things to this guy or look at him a certain way, I'm going to make more money than if you walk up and say the exact same things or whatever.
Right.
And I mean, I do that, you know, like, you know, you do the whole like if a guy walks up to the bar and I'm like, oh, order your drink from me, I want to make your drink, then it makes him feel special. Where if you like stepped in and you were like, let me make your drink, you might just be a little weirded out.
But there was that time when we were like working that party that night. I was downstairs. I was like, bro,
yeah,
you know, we have our thing, and he was like, yeah, we do.
Yeah,
and I was like, in your face.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but that's.
But people like to feel special like that.
In general, no, you're right.
Yeah, no, because that same guy right after you left got too drunk, and this is like what you're talking about. Like you worry about like over serving people, but it's like.
Okay, was that was that same guy that bought those 2 chicks drinks on the company tab?
Yes.
Hey, yeah, spoiler alert.
He's like, let me get you ladies some Tito's lemonade.
Hey, one of your dudes.
You can't put that shit on the company tab.
I'm like
that was acted like big baller.
Okay, with all due respect, I fucking loved that.
That was like, it was a good move.
That's a fucking cheat code, dude. I'm telling you. That's crazy.
It was hilarious.
That was so funny.
But no, that same dude, like right after you left, you know, he's drunk or whatever, and so you lay it on thick. You're trying to get them to like up their tab or whatever, trying to buy more drinks, and he does this weird thing where he comes up to me and he goes, "Stop looking at me," and I was like, I'm sorry. Like I'll look over here, and he's like, you gotta quit looking at me. He's like, I can't. He's like, your eyes are just crazy. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks. And he's like, stop looking at me with your eyeballs. I was like, how would you prefer I look at you, bro? And
what other way is there? I don't know.
And then you know that conversation transitions. So I'm like flirting a little bit, whatever. Yeah. I'm like, you want another beer? But then he's just like, yeah, you know, so what are you doing after this? And I'm like, I'm going home to my fiance and I'm going to bed. And he goes, oh, you're engaged? And you always get the same question. When you're a girl and you're like married or have a boyfriend or whatever it is, you get the same question. You get, do you like him? And are you happy? You get the same shit. And it's, yeah, I love him, as a matter of fact. And yeah, I'm very happy. And it's always like, oh, well then. Like, what do you want me to say, bro? No, I hate his ass, but I'm going to marry him anyway?
That's so dumb. Like, I just think, yeah, you know, that's one thing about men. You know, they're just so persistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, you know, it's like, no matter what is going on in some chick's life, you know, they're, like, always going to be, you know, trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just to
and, like, I can respect the hustle or whatever.
I guess, but it's just kind of fucking dumb, you know? Like,
it's like, if you
honestly, overall, it's kind of dumb.
I'm like, I don't know what you expect from me in this moment.
I think a lot of times, if you just sit back and you just let things play out and you just be a good person overall, I think with anything that is going to be better than just you just fucking trying to go out and, like, just make shit uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just if you just try to be a good dude and shit. But, yeah, it's just like, you know, you get a lot of that at the bar. It's like, you know, if I've been in a relationship in the past, you know, I've had chicks or whatever, you know, and they're like, oh, you know, what's, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go home to my girlfriend or whatever. And they're like, oh, okay. You know, like, why'd you have to say that? I'm like, okay, like, what, okay, if I was with you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I was in this situation, how would you feel? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I'm interacting with somebody, you know, and then so, like, honestly, in my you know, history of women, I've had a lot of them be like, you know, you're a bartender and all you do, you know, you flirt with women or whatever, you know, and they want to take you home and then you're fucking all these women. I'm like, okay, really? I just go home to my dogs at the end of my shift. I don't really, you know, hang out with anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, I have like kind of like two polarities. Like, I really like people and I like to talk to them a lot. And so I do that at work a lot. And I really talk to people. I really engage them and I really make jokes and all this bullshit. And then, like, when I get off work, I like to kind of like pull back from that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like, that's why I do this, because I like people so much, but I also like my me time.
Right.
And so, like, at the end of it all, I'm, like, not going to come meet you and your friends at Cowboys Red River or whatever, which is right by my other job. And, you know, that's, like, proposition is a lot all the time. And I'm like, I'm not going to go meet you there. And, you know, but maybe I'll tell you I will, you know, to make you happy and get that money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you down, you know, but it's really for these reasons, like, I'm not.
Yeah. But for the next hour, you're going to be so happy.
I'm just really, for all these reasons, I'm just like, you know, I just, you know, what I just said, you know, like, I'm clocking out of this whole.
Yeah.
You know.
No, it was like the same shit, like when I was stripping or whatever, right? Like, obviously, you put on this persona of, like, you're into this guy. And, like, you have to. That's how you make your money.
Yeah.
Because when you're a dancer, you're not employed by a club. You're an independent contractor.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
And so it's like you can go dance wherever. You just have to get licensed for it, which is super easy to do. They just do a background check and make sure you're not, like, a sex offender. But you just get licensed.
Which is hard for a woman, right?
It's pretty hard. Like, I mean,
how many women sex offenders are there?
Fuck if I know.
Not a lot.
I mean, I know.
Probably,
like,
you know.
Sometimes, I mean, there's stupid shit where you can become a sex offender for, like, peeing in public.
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely, yeah.
But I mean.
Well, in that case, I'm a sex offender every day.
Yeah, hey. It's like when you gotta go.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
But no, like, so I don't get paid shit. You know, I'm $0 an hour. But so when you're dancing, it's like all of your money is just what comes from these dudes or girls or whoever's there. And so it's like you put on that persona of, like, I'm super into you. And then it's like, I've had guys, like, leave me, like, you know, they'll hand me a $100 bill and it has, and their hotel key card, you know, and it has, like, their room number written on it in Sharpie. And I'm like, you know, I'll give them a little wink or whatever. And then I've never been to that hotel in my life.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I don't want to fuck you, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we talked about, like, I was a virgin when I was stripping. I had never, ever had sex with anyone. I didn't plan on it anytime soon. And that was, like, a turn-on for guys. Because they like, want to take that, you know? And so I'd be like, you know, oh, I'm just waiting for the right guy.
You know, it's not a turn-on for women.
It's not.
Yeah. Let me tell you a story. So, like, I had, like, this, so my friend's girlfriend's best friend, you know, got interest in me, you know, whatever. And I was a virgin at the time, right? Mm-hmm. And this was, like, when I was pretty young, like, you know, I think I just turned 17, you know, when I lost it or whatever. And kind of maybe a late bloomer. Some of you fucks out there, you fucking perverts.
An ice cream truck
There's
out
an
there?
ice cream truck going on. That is not, okay.
Bro!
It's 56 degrees, dog.
That is a pedo out there in a van.
Ruining this fucking podcast. And so, anyways, I'm not cutting shit.
Yeah, you're like, this is staying in.
This is staying in it.
This is gold content.
So anyways, yeah, you know, she gained interest in me and shit, and then, you know, we hooked up or whatever and stuff. And then later on, right, she found out that I was a virgin when she hooked up with me, and I did not disclose that. You know, I was just, like, ready to, like, just fucking get rid of that title. Because as a man, it doesn't mean much. Right. You know what I mean? Because men are never really good at sex at all.
You're
anyways.
Not seen as, like, so, pure and innocent.
But like, no, you know, with the women, there's other stuff that happen. You know what I mean? But, like, so as a man, it's nothing special really into you. You know, like, anyways, she got, like, super upset. You know that I wasn't. You know, that I didn't disclose that information. You know, she was like, oh, yeah, people, when they lose their virginity, they tend to get really attached to that person. I was like, first of all, I really don't care about you that much. I just am truly just, you know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
mean, I can't say shit. I'm marrying the guy I lost my virginity to.
But I'm like, you know, I'm like, first of all, you don't really know, like, that I don't have any feelings, like, and I, you know what I mean? But, like, I'm like, it's really nothing special. And that was, like, a huge deal, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, in the grand scope of things, like, it's not important like it is for a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like, you know? And so, like, yeah, guys want it, but, like, you never get the opposite. Like, a chick does not want that. they don't want to take a dude's virginity, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just...
Yeah. I mean, it's like a kink for some women out there, but it's not pretty
there's a
very
kink
common.
for everything. There's a kink for people who want to jerk off with an iPhone. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a kink for everything. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has a kink for something. And, like, I'm the last person to kink shame anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, there's just... If you are into something, there's bound to be people out there who want the same thing. That's just bottom line, But, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's kind of like a little bit different.
No, it definitely is. I mean, we used to have this regular, I won't say his name, but he would come in on Mondays, and on Mondays we had this special. We had a New York stripped steak. Yeah. And it was like half off on Mondays or whatever, so we called it Stripper Steak Mondays.
Nice.
It was awesome, right?
Yeah.
But he would come in and he would order his steak, and he like didn't want you to talk to him while he was eating. But as soon as he finished eating, like the cocktail waitress would come and like take his plate away or whatever, and he had a huge foot fetish. But he was a virgin, so he never wanted to do anything at all like with you. He literally only wanted to like play with your feet. And so he would pay to go like to the back rooms, to VIP or whatever, which was expensive as fuck because everything is overpriced at a strip club.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And so so you had to pay the girl $200 for half an hour. And then you had to buy a bottle. I think it was connecting and disconnecting from your keyboard.
Really?
Okay.
I don't know. It's just never happened. I don't know. I'm operating on like a 2013, Mac or whatever. I feel like it's about time to upgrade. Real quick, if you want to donate to me, please, because I spent like $2,000 on this computer in 2013, and I would like to spend $2,000 more on another one now. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Upgrade, man.
Yeah, I think it's about time. This thing is a fucking champion. I love Mac.
I can't believe it's still running.
It's so good. This computer is
I've never used Mac. I've always
Flash
been
memory,
Windows.
like it's like a fucking solid piece of brick here with all metal and stuff, and flash memory, and just like it's like got everything that's good. I'm not a big tech guy, but it's got everything that's good. You know what I'm saying?
I've always been a Windows fan.
It's
so.
just it's like so it's got like a 2.8 gigahertz processor, and most computers now are not much past that. So that's that and some other shit, but I don't know. Anyways, okay, continue with your story. I don't know what happened. I don't know if anybody will hear that.
It's because you spilled on your keyboard.
Yeah, you think that's it?
Yeah,
I think so. I think
man.
that's so. Yeah, this thing was like literally probably $15. It's for my iPad.
Yeah.
And
I used to have a Surface
too
Pro.
small. It's too small for my fingers.
Yeah.
And
you got the big man hands.
I mean, I just am just a big awkward dude, and it's too small for me. But I still use it because I don't like change.
I don't either.
So, anyways,
we'll talk about that too. But no, so you had to pay the girl $200 for half an hour to get the back room, and then you had to buy a bottle.
Yeah.
And
so how much is that?
The cheapest bottle we sold was a bottle of wine from Jordan wine.
Oh, so you can buy a bottle of wine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Jordan wine was like $150. So like the cheapest you could get in there was $350.
Yeah.
And those are like the back rooms, like, the leather booths and like the curtains or whatever.
Yeah.
And they had the little fake candles, so it was like all, dark and romantic or whatever.
Romantic at a strip club.
Yeah,
right,
it was
continue.
great.
Yeah.
Had rose petals and.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I've never done that for somebody I really loved, anyways.
No.
I'm just like,
this sounds great.
Let's go see Wally.
But yeah, the cheapest you could get in there was $350, and that was for half an hour, and it was $200 for every half hour. There was no like deals, like, oh well, if I go for 2 hours, can I get it for? No, you can't. But anyway, so this dude would come in every single Monday, and he would eat his, stripper steak, and then he really liked. So he was specific about like the toes, right? So you had to have
So weird.
weird.
But hey, let's not kink shame.
Right. But no, your toes had to go like diagonally, right? Like your big toe had to be.
Did he get like a
one.
what is that called, a protractor?
No, so like if you wore tights, he wouldn't even talk to you because he thought you were like hiding your feet. And so you had to not be wearing tights or fishnets or whatever. Like you had to have like your bare feet. But it was a rule that we could not take off our heels because they were part of like our quote unquote uniform.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So he'd just have you like put your feet up in his lap and he would legit like look at your feet and touch them and like inspect them. And then if he like deemed you acceptable, then he would give you the $200. You would go to the back room and all this dude wanted to do was for 15 minutes, he would give you a foot massage. And then for the second 15 minutes, he would want to lay his head in your lap and he would want you to like play with his hair. And he would like take a nap for like 15 minutes.
You think he had like a mommy issues?
Probably.
You know what's kind of crazy is a lot of dudes have like mommy issues and a lot of chicks have daddy issues. What's up with that?
I think it's just because men and women are so biologically different that it can be hard to relate.
I say what's up with that isn't like I know, but like I'm just kind of like, you know, it's just pretty like obvious, you know, to everybody, you know, like I mean, my mom, you know, passed away last year, you know, whatever. I have mommy issues galore, you know, but like it's just kind of, you know, funny how like it's like that, you know what I mean? Like you think of a chick, you're like, oh, you know, if she does some wild shit, you're like, oh, that chick has daddy
issues, right?
And like, you know, you think of some dude who's like, you know, fucked up like me, like, oh yeah, mommy issues. I'm like, yeah, definitely, yeah, you're right, you know, but I don't know, but
I mean, I don't know. I never felt like I had daddy issues because I was very close to my dad growing up, and this is something that has followed me all throughout life.
I'm
right?
saying I'm not
no,
saying
you're
fucked
good.
up.
No, you're
like
good.
I'm just saying like I've met some fucked up chicks, and like their
but
dad is
obviously because I was a stripper or whatever. That's everyone's first thought is she's a stripper. She has daddy issues.
No. Let me get this straight. I said this before. I think that we started right. I said like if I could have that kind of confidence to do that, I would definitely do it. But like I cannot harness that.
Well, and the thing is, it gives you so much, because I used to like not be. I was totally like, you know, imagine me, you know, 4 or 5 years ago or whatever.
Yo, I think it's crazy you're 21 and you like are so, you know, just, you know, you seem like you have a lot of experience and stuff like that in just a lot of different ways, and you're very good at talking to people, and like, I meet a lot of young people, you know, as do you know, at the bar or whatever, you know, you're like, hey, like last night, this guy, you know, him and his girlfriend were there, and, you know, I ID'd him and shit, and he was kind of giving me a hard time about IDing him and stuff, and its ID was like 1997. Yeah. And I was like, bro, like, why are you giving me a hard time about this? Because, like, trust me, there's going to be a day when they're not going to ID you, okay? Yeah. And then you're going to be like, what's wrong with me? Yeah. You know, I'm like, dude, you're not going to be young and hot forever, dude. I told him that. I'm like, you're not going to be all young and hot like you think you are right now. It's not going to happen. Yeah. You know, a few years from now, they're going to ID you, and you're going to be sad. You're going to be like, why? Yeah. They're IDing me. And I'm like, trust me, this day is going to come, and you're going to think about me. I told him all this. I was like, this day is going to come, and you're going to think about me and what I said to you. Yeah. And I hope that you remember this day. And you pass it on.
I want you to remember my face.
Yeah, I was like, I hope you pass it on to your grandkids, because you probably have grandkids at that time. No, I just was like, I was like, yeah, I'm just fucking with you, you know. But yes, it's just kind of wild, you know. Like a lot of people. I'm sure you get this too, you know, because you're 7 years younger than me. Yeah. And I'm sure you get this, that people are like, oh, wait till you get my age. I'm like, you know. A lot of shit is measured in experience, not necessarily age. And I gotta agree that age definitely gives you experience no matter what. Right. But you can experience a lot of shit in a short period of time. Yeah, absolutely. And people who are fucking boring say that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? People who are fucking boring say that, oh, wait till you get my age. I'm like, well, you just didn't live your life. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you just didn't do anything. You know, like, I mean, if you say that to me at the bar, I'm like, you're not very experienced. You know what I mean? But anyway.
No, I mean, I feel you. That's why, like, the man I'm engaged to, the man I'm marrying is 30. Yeah. Because, you know, And it puts me in this like awkward position of obviously I'm 21. I've done everything. You know, I started drinking when I was 12. Yeah. Go ahead. You know, I started drinking when I was 12 years old. I started smoking cigarettes when I was like 14.
A little too much in here, but
you know, whatever. I like,
yeah, for sure.
I did all this shit at an early age because, like I said earlier, I had very liberal parents that were just very, you know, just be safe and like let us know where you are and what you're doing. And I always did. I was very, and this is why I have like a no secret policy.
Yeah.
I'm the most honest person I know, and nothing bothers me more in the entire world than lying.
Nothing.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like don't lie to people. Tell them how it is. People love that. You know what I mean? People love that. Don't lie to people. That's my number one rule. Don't lie to people.
Exactly. That's why I've always had such like an honesty is best policy because I mean. There's just no point to lying because first of all, it always comes out.
Yeah.
People always find, whether it's through like, you know, they're going through your phone or whether you just like let it out when you're drunk or, you know, a friend tells them or whatever the fuck happens, like people always know.
Yeah.
It like lying never builds, it never stands up.
Well, that's one reason why I wanted to do this because I don't lie to people. I'm like, you know, I don't have anything that's a secret.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't care what people know about me because they already know it. You know, like I'm like I just want to have good conversation with people. You know, who do what I do and who experience the things I experience.
Yeah, I'm never gonna have a moment where I'm like, oh shit, why did I say that?
Yeah, me neither. I'm like, that's a terrible way to live. If you're always walking on eggshells, you're not really walking. You know, like you just got to be giving it all the time. I'm like, you know, and if you don't feel like you fit in a certain place, don't try. You know, try to find some place else you fit in because happiness is worth more than gold. You know, it's not worth, you know, making, you know, more money if you're not happy, you know, like it's really not. I've tried other jobs and tried other things. I'm like, just for me as a person, like I just have found light in this. Like I just can't, you know, I don't know. It's just this, you know, and I think that's cool about, you know, society. It's like we all have different things that we feel comfortable doing. Yeah. And that's what's important. We all come together at the end of the day and make the whole world work. You know, everybody kind of plays their type of role, and you know, it works for you got to find what works for you, and oftentimes that's what works with other people. Yeah. You know, it's like just doing what you want to do. You know, and you'll find people that are down with that too, and that's the whole concept of life. You don't want to go out of your way to do something for somebody else if you're not comfortable with it. You know, right. And so like, but. You know, going back to that whole thing, when I was like, you know, I probably started drinking when I was like 14, 15-ish. Yeah. And we would go to my buddy's house and play video games and shit. And then he had like a pool built in his backyard and stuff. And they had like a fridge outside. And it was just full of beer. That was it, you know. And so his parents were from Romania. And his grandparents lived with his parents, and they kind of just, you know, they were big house and stuff, and so they had a bunch of like foreign beer, like Bitburger. Have you ever heard of that shit? No. It's like fucking disgusting beer, really strong, you know, and just like all kinds of like crazy, you know, European beer, whatever. And so one day they were kind of like, we were just kind of swimming around, you know, stuff, and just you know, lighting up the hot tub and just hanging out. And they were like, hey, you know, if you want a beer, go for it. You know, have a beer or whatever. You know, just you gotta like, just you can't leave after you have a beer. You know, just gotta hang, you know, spend the night or whatever. And you know, we were all our parents knew each other, and like, you know, I'm very lucky to have had a clique of people who were so close to each other, like in proximity, and just interests and like. You know, music and all this shit, you know, we just all loved each other very much, just, you know, and that's my whole clique through high school and everything, and a lot of people still kind of live around here, actually, and like, you know, but it's like they were like, yeah, you know, you can drink a beer, you just can't leave, and so we're like, okay, that's fine, you know. So like, you know, we start, you know, if you're 15, you know, one beer, it kind of makes you feel the type of way, right? You know, and then you start upgrading, you know, you start doing more. And so like we, you know, every weekend we go over there, you know, and like, you know, none of us had any jobs at the moment and shit, and people were starting to get jobs, and so we just lived for the weekend. You know, we're just kids
Yeah.
in school, high school, you know, whatever, just, you know, living for the weekend, go over there every weekend and stuff, and we're drinking and shit, and everything was fine. And I thought it was really cool because, you know, we kind of learned how to drink, you know, before we were like just thrown out into the world of drinking, you know, when a lot of these kids are just, you know, just come to the bar and they just are like, you know, don't really know how to drink. They rack up these big tabs. They're not expecting that.
Yeah.
They're getting fucked up. They didn't expect to get that fucked up or whatever. You know, it's like we kind of had a little bit more, experience, and I'm thankful for that. You know, because it was like in a controlled environment, and it was nice. You know, so I definitely am like a proponent of that type of shit. Like
Right.
if you can like you know, kind of like learn and manage that stuff before you're all thrown out in here and into the world. I think it's like a good stage. And I'm not talking about getting like so fucked up, drunk, and
Right.
stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about having a couple beers, a few
Yeah.
beers or whatever. You know, we're not getting hammered. You know, and as time went on, yeah, we did get hammered. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like that's like, you know, you go to other places, other countries, especially Europe or whatever. That's like their philosophy. And like they tend to have a lot less fucking drunken incidents than we do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I just think that that's like one interesting thing about it all. It's like if you do this all in a controlled environment, if you as you age and whatever, you just kind of like learn this stuff. Like it's a lot better off than just, you know, these parents who are just like, no, absolutely not. You know, you can't do this, you can't do
Yeah.
that, blah blah blah. You know, and nowadays you can keep track of where people are. You know, like to the dot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where people are. And it's kind of scary. I'm just like, you know, without freedom, there is no responsibility. You know, and that's an issue with a lot of these kids. Hey, what do you want to drink? Or like, hey, like what do you like? Give me what you like. I'm like, you're not gonna like what I like.
Yeah.
Have you ever drank?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just telling you, like, but you know.
Yeah. No, it's like when people ask, like, I don't drink a lot of beer. Like, when I do drink beer, it's like cider, right?
Yeah.
Or like maybe like a blonde. But like definitely like the lighter stuff. So like when, you know, when these like 42-year-old men come into Truck Yard or whatever and they're like, oh, well, you have a lot of locals. I don't know, like, what do you like? I'm like, I'm going to give you an Austin East Cider unless you tell me you want a Shiner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, but it's like I do, you know, when I'm making like a cocktail or whatever, it's like, you know, my first question is, well, what kind of liquor do you drink? Because I drink vodka, and that's it. And so I'm like, you know, I can make you awesome, like I make the world's best lemon drop. I tell everyone that, you know.
What do you
because-
use, Deep Eddie's lemon?
Yeah,
Or what?
you know, yeah, just, you know, you do like an ounce Deep Eddie's lemon, and then like 3/4 ounce triple sec, and then like half an ounce of simple.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's sweet, but girls love it because, you know,
Okay.
girls love it sweeter. If it's
Yeah.
a guy, I'll maybe like not even put in the simple because they want it to be
Yeah.
a little more tart. And then you do like half a sugar rim.
Gotcha.
And it's like super easy, super basic, but it's so easy to drink. And I know because when I was drinking, like that's what I drank. Like growing up, I drank lemon vodka. But yeah, it's just like, I don't, when people come up and they're like, I don't know, like what's a good shot to drink? I mean, my first question is, do you want it cheap or do you want it good?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, do you want it cheap or do you
Be
want
like
it good?
$5 or $10. What are you trying to spend? You
Yeah,
know, like,
exactly,
what's something in the
exactly.
middle, you know? Like,
Yeah, like we were talking about like audios
Yeah,
motherfuckers
yeah, yeah.
earlier. Like some dude, like we don't have a button for that on our screen
No.
because Truck Yard doesn't assume we're gonna make that. But so some guy ordered an audios motherfucker. I rang it in and there's not a button, so I just rang in, you know, like well vodka and like a $2 upcharge. I was like, it was like $6.50. I was like, that seems fair to me.
Yeah.
And when I told him, he was like, $6.50. I was like, do you know how much alcohol is in this motherfucker? I should have charged you $10.
Yeah.
Um.
If somebody orders that, should I ring in a mother trucker?
Yeah. It's like, you know, like
$8.75,
$8.50 or whatever it is. Yeah.
ring that shit.
But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Like, yeah, definitely the whole, like, you know, you're not going to like what I like. I want to ask people, like, do you want it cheap or do you want it good? What kind of liquor do you like? And do you want it sweet or do you want it strong?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, sometimes I just make stuff up on the spot, or maybe I'll like, I don't know. I make like this cherry limeade shot. It's pretty good.
That
it's
sounds
just
good.
like
yeah, cherry lime.
yeah,
shot.
vodka,
Yeah, that's
grenadine,
good.
and lime
Yeah.
juice.
Hell yeah.
Basically like a dirty Shirley, but
Yeah. Slutty Shirley, that's what.
yeah, slutty Shirley.
Yeah, Slutty Shirley is like the technical, because people say like royal fuck and cheap fuck or whatever, but like, like a restaurant, you're not supposed to say stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't
but,
ask
like,
for it.
like that is the
Yeah.
recipe. It's a slutty Shirley. It's
Yeah.
not a dirty Shirley. She's slutty, bro.
Yeah.
Because she's got vodka in her, dude. That's what it is.
That's like I had a lady at PF Chang's ask me one time if I could make a buttery nipple. I was like, do you know where you are?
Jesus, yeah. Crazy. Most of the time I've been to PF Chang's. I've gotten like I like that duck thing they have.
We don't have it anymore.
Really,
We don't
that
have
was
duck
my
anymore.
thing, dude. I love
Yeah.
that stuff. And so like I don't know. When I go out to restaurant stuff, I like to order stuff that I don't really do at home. You know what I mean? I like to
Right.
order different stuff, and so like, like Whiskey Cake has like a really good duck thing, whatever and stuff. So, but I mean, it's just like, I don't know. When I go out, I just try to order stuff that I wouldn't be able to make,
Yeah, I don't
at
want to go
home.
out and order a fettuccine
But-
alfredo because I can make that at home.
Fuck yeah, it's easy as fuck. Well, hey, we've done like a bunch of time, and I'm sure we could like do a lot more.
Oh yeah, we're
And,
probably like super over your like hour and a half.
Yeah, like 2 hours. Yeah, so
We just get along so well.
I
Blake.
know. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, when I was like, you should come on here. We don't really know each other that well, even though we work together and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But like,
we chit-chat.
But I'm like, hey, it could be a good conversation. And I was excited to do it, so I'm glad you came on.
Yeah, me too.
But
It's a lot of fun.
yeah, so follow me rather. I don't know, something, but sorry.
There's no us.
Standard at Standard Pour Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Standard Pour Podcast on YouTube. And we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that good stuff. And I've had a lot of vodka.
Me too.
And
I definitely have to go to the bathroom.
It's great. It's a great Monday. Me too. Actually, so I'm like, yeah, we gotta fucking end this because I'm gonna pee my fucking pants.
No, me too.
So follow me, and thank you all for listening. Thanks for helping promote this at the bar last night. You
Yeah,
texted me,
absolutely.
And I just am. I don't know, man. Life is good. So.
All right.
Anything else you want to say?
Not at all. I think we got it all.
Cool.
out there.
Come see us at Truck Yard. We work a lot.
Fuck yeah.
On the weekends and stuff like that. I mostly work at night, so come see us anytime.
Yeah.
Give us
We're
your
most
money.
fun working together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. That's my biggest gripe. Is like we have so many bars, and I don't get to work with the people I like so much. And
Yeah.
we got a good chemistry, and so I like it a lot. But come see us anytime, separately or together, whatever. It's gonna be good for you. So, all right, later.
The Standard Pour. Standard. Pour. Standard. The Standard Pour.